Before I get into this, I just want everybody to know that I don't have a problem with Manfrotto products or their quick release system. I've just found something that's much better that has saved me a ton of time and improved my workflow, and that is the Kessler Arca style quick release plates and receiver. Truthfully, once you get these and use them, there's no going back to Manfrotto. They come in various sizes with various prices, with the mini plate being the cheapest and good for small DSLR cameras and small camcorders. The medium sized plate works best for larger DSLRs, larger cages, and smaller rigs, and then they also have a longer style to this one, which I don't have because I don't need. The slider plate is for attaching a slider, of course. However, I learned that it's not best for all sliders, mostly smaller ones like the Canova K1. If you have a larger slider like I do, it's not necessarily long, just wide, the utility plate is best. It gives you a lot more stability, and this thing is massive. And lastly, you have the receiver itself, which features different sized threaded holes for easy mounting, a locking mechanism used for securing everything like a Brinks truck, a red push tab for removing a mounted piece of equipment, and then a bubble level. To mount it to your tripod head, you can do what I did and just use a Manfrotto plate, which I'll get to in one sec. Whenever your item arrives, regardless of which one of these you get, it comes in a similar box to this. You'll find your item and then all the necessary tools used for attaching it to your setup. Once you purchase enough of these, your toolbox will look something like this. As you can see, I already have a mini plate attached to my A7S Mark II and cage. It works fine, however, I wanted something a little bit more stable, so I'm swapping it out for a medium-sized plate. On the bottom of your cage, you should have a similar threaded hole design to what you see here. Line the plate up of your choice with the holes the best way possible to give you the best stability. Of course, you can use this on a base camera without a cage, similar to the Manfrotto style plates. However, I just prefer to use my cage for the accessory input. Tighten down the screw using the included Allen key or a screwdriver that you might have lying around. Make sure you get it nice and straight and as tight as possible to avoid any slippage, turning, or twisting. Next up, I'll be putting the utility plate on my slider. Again, you're going to line everything up the best way you can for maximum stability, and you can also use multiple screws. For me, it was just using the center hole and going straight into the center of the slider. Tighten it down as tight as you can to avoid any slippage, and that's it. Depending on your slider, you can also mount it from the top of the slider. For me, however, the screws interfered with the slider movement, so it was a no-go. Here you can see the overall difference in size between the standard slider and the utility plate. The standard slider plate is not small by any means, but the utility plate is just amazing and huge when it comes to giving you stability for cranes, larger sliders, and heavier rigs. To attach the base plate, simply screw it on the screw located on your tripod, your slider, or the mounting location of choice. If there's not a screw, you can use the included bolts and screws to mount it from the top side of the Kessler receiver to whatever threaded input you may have where you want to mount this, such as the side of a cage. Now for my workflow, I use one located directly on the tripod itself, and of course I have one located directly on the slider. Now these never get removed and they stay stationary. Next up, I also use a standard slider plate located on the bottom of all my tripod heads. Again, installation is pretty much self-explanatory, and because of the tripod head panning, you don't have to worry about it lining up perfectly. I fasten the third Kessler receiver to a Manfrotto plate, then slide it into my fluid head and lock it down super tight, since I won't be removing it 99% of the time. So again, it's pretty much staying stationary. Attaching your equipment into the receiver is so freaking easy. Make sure the locking lever is out or open, not closed. Bring in your Kessler plate at an angle like you see here and just snap it in. You'll actually hear the thing click once it's in. Once it's in, secure the locking lever and you're done. And when I say this thing is secure, I mean this thing is not going anywhere. I mean seriously, if you look here, I'm lifting my camera, my cage, my slider, fluid head, and tripod all fastened together using Kessler quick release systems, and there is not a jiggle, wiggle, or give. It's just absolutely amazing. It's also important to note that the Kessler receivers do allow your plates to slide back and forth in order to counterbalance. There's also another safety lock that will keep your camera from sliding out when your receiver is not locked. So you can actually, tilt the head, it will slide down and you don't have to worry about your camera falling out. I mean, I even started to get creative with these, and I took a mini plate and mounted it to the bottom of my Adamus power station, and then I took a receiver and mounted it to the side of my cage. Why would I do that? Well, for easy mounting of something that powers my camera, external recorder, and up to 2 USB devices. Plus, I can remove it for very quick charging of 2 NPF 7800 milliamp hour batteries in about 45 minutes to an hour due to that rapid charging feature found in the power station, which I'll cover in a separate video. Really, the only downsides to the system is the fact that if you have a plate mounted on the bottom of your rig, it's not going to sit flat on a table due to the design, but that can be easily fixed by taking out the entire quick release plate with the Manfrotto plate on the bottom and then setting your camera down on a table. Not that this is too much of a negative, but for people that are using tripod heads that don't support that much weight, you might need to think twice before getting this, or get another tripod head, because this will add some weight to your load. And the last thing is just that they're just so damn addicting. I mean, I've bought in so many of them and they're not cheap at all, which I'll cover in just a moment. Hold on. So the biggest question is, why do you need this and who is this for? Well, if you travel from shoot to shoot or location to location, this is a must for you. Breaking down your equipment and reassembling 5 times a shoot or 5 times a day, whatever it is you do, is very time consuming. For me, not anymore. Watch how fast I can assemble my entire setup, including tripod, slider, head, camera, and external power source. Pretty damn impressive, right? No. Honestly, it's just unbelievable. I can make this super portable by breaking everything down, putting it into bags, and just traveling so much easier, not having to worry about reassembling time or anything like that. But these do not come cheap. The plates are a reasonable price, but the receiver is over $100. But just keep in mind, time is money, and the time you'll save by not having to reconnect everything the long way will make up the cost later on in the future. You can also get these used, so keep an eye out, because I honestly bought 2 of these used and I paid about 40 to 50 bucks less than what they are brand new. Anyways guys, I'll leave links to all these plates you saw in the video, as well as a few others I didn't mention, in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed the second episode of my workflow, which I really didn't know whether to put it in this series or my equipment, so I just chose workflow. Make sure you like, share, subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Be easy, my friends.